Les joined last week. Just how deep does this thing run, Taz?
I can't share that publicly now, can I?
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Sit down!
Potting it down a little early, but that's all right.
I'm sorry, but you see, all of a sudden your name came up.
So you just immediately,
Yeah, I figured it's that time. You didn't tell me this.
I know, I didn't prep you. I'll take the heat for that. That's all right.
It's his fault, everybody. I didn't do anything wrong.
Nick Cataldi filling in for Starship Matt here on Pro Wrestling Weekly, having a little bit of fun. In spite of Aces and Eights adding 2 more members, so has it quickly become like the NWO where you've got more members than anybody really cares about? I guess when you're getting to Garrett Bischoff and Wes Briscoe, I mean, come on, it's I think reaching that point where it's hovering above the shark, moving forward to jump over it. Just kind of throwing that out there. But you had your hand on the mic button, like, all right, I want to chime in. So go for it.
I didn't.
No?
I didn't want to say anything. Not that time.
No, not that time.
You hurt my feelings. No, I'm kidding. I'm only kidding.
Oh, by giving me the opportunity to say something?
No, never. I'm just kidding with you. I'm not. I had an idea what you were talking about there.
A little idea or no idea? Okay, a little one.
Yeah, very little one. Yeah. If I just was moving, just in case, Anyway.
There we go. All right. Let's go back to the phones. Eric's been hanging on. I believe this is Eric from the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, calling all the way out in Minnesota, I believe. No?
I think he hung up.
Yeah, I think he was hanging on a little too long. All right. We'll see if we can get Eric back in a little bit. If not,
wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Technical stuff. Gotta love it.
Stream green coffee weight loss.
Nope. We lost him.
Are you sure? I think you brought up the news. Let's try that one.
Eric.
Okay, we got you here. All right.
I goofed. No, that was my fault that time. I'm sorry. I should be pile driven into the mat. Okay, go ahead.
Eric, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Just wanted to call and chat with you a little bit because it's been a while since I called in.
Yeah, it has been a little while.
So I know I haven't been able to get around to listen to any of the shows recently on YouTube, but have you talked about Chris Jericho's contract status lately, or for this time around, and have you talked about his possible WrestleMania opponent yet?
Well, I mean, it has been noted, and I forget if I've mentioned it on here, but if I haven't, it looks like he has kind of a short-term deal going through WrestleMania, and I believe there's a little bit of a break thrown in because he has another tour set up with his metal band Fozzy. So it's kind of up in the air. I mean, who his opponent will be? There are so many variables at this point. I mean, there could be. I mean, depending on how things go, there could be a Punk Jericho rematch. A lot of question going on as far as the health status of The Undertaker. I know we talked about that a little bit briefly last week. His shoulder at this point, the surgeons have looked at him and gone, we've done all we can do. At this point, your shoulder is not going to get any better than it is right now, and continuing to break it down, it's only going to get worse, and we aren't able to fix it because we've done that much surgery on it. I think I made the allusion last week. It's kind of like Joan Rivers' face at this point.
Well, I do want to get your opinion about this guy who I heard from Dave Meltzer when he was recapping the Royal Rumble pay-per-view that he said that Jericho's back for a short-term contract through WrestleMania, and he was brought back to face Ryback at WrestleMania.
Well, that'd be interesting, although it looks like, if that's the case, Jericho's got a few weeks to make a heel turn, because at this point it looks like he's come back and he's been a babyface for the first time in a while. I mean, he's soaking in the adulation of the crowd. He's not, turning against it like he did in his last run. So if they're going to go with a Jericho-Ryback match, which I guess that's kind of another question, is what direction does Ryback go? Do they have do they have him with the Shield? There's still a lot of things to set up, and they've got 8 weeks to do it. And I'm sure they're going to put the jigsaw puzzle pieces together coming out of Elimination Chamber. So I'd imagine 9 days from now, Monday Night Raw, February 18, that's where you're going to start to see the framework laid for these various matches. Will we find out, who Jericho is going to face at WrestleMania on the 18th? Not necessarily, but there's still ample time to figure a lot of that out.
Yeah, because I don't like to assume it's about Dave Meltzer. He was saying that the reason why they're thinking of having Jericho Ryback at WrestleMania is because McMahon's very high on Ryback and is thinking for WrestleMania next year having Ryback versus John Cena at WrestleMania.
Well, that would, unless they're going to go with another good guy against good guy. I mean, we've seen that happen before. We saw it with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 12. We saw it with Hogan and the Warrior, WrestleMania 6. I mean, they have done it before. We're also talking, WrestleMania 30. We're looking, over a year from now. A lot obviously can change between now and then. One of those, something that people have been clamoring for ages. John Cena could turn heel by that point, but if I were a betting man, I wouldn't put money on it.
Well, I know you were talking about Undertaker might not be able to come back for Mania this year. I know how it's been talked about him and Punk at Mania if he's able to come back. Who do you rather see Punk face if Undertaker can't come back this year?
Well, that's a lot of that. I was going to say that's a pretty big question. A lot of that stems from whether The Rock's title reign only is a few weeks. If Punk gets it back at Elimination Chamber a week from tomorrow, then it's all right. Well, it's going to be Punk and Cena. Because, obviously Cena stated winning the Rumble that he was going to challenge for the WWE Championship. So that could be the direction that they're going. That was the direction I thought they were going coming out of the Rumble. That's why I thought Punk was going to retain and have a 500-plus day reign leading up to WrestleMania. I think 504 days would have gone right up to WrestleMania Sunday, and then that's where Cena would have won it back, and people would have been calling in that following Saturday, just absolutely seething.
Do you think if The Rock does retain, or either way anyway, could you see a possible three-way with those three guys at WrestleMania if The Undertaker can't come back?
That's a possibility, and I'm sure Vince McMahon's thinking of a lot of that, although I'm sure at the immediate moment his focus is on this upcoming conference call and what he's going to say to the shareholders regarding the fourth quarter financial numbers. That's coming up on February 28th.
Well, doesn't he have $1 million man Ted DiBiase as his financial backer? He may have to soon if he throws Linda McMahon into one more election. I don't know. I think he may have nothing left. Well, yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to call in this week. So thanks for taking my call, Ron.
Oh, no problem, Eric. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for the call.
Thanks, Ron.
Oh, no problem.
Later.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Eric calling in from all the way out in Minnesota. Always appreciate one of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew chiming in. Eric and Ross out there. They're loyal listeners of the show, and I certainly appreciate it. All right, we've got some other news and notes here to talk about. Let me get over the two things that I missed last week just from time constraints. I don't want to skip them again. More on the Tammy Sytch developments. Of course, WWE Hall of Famer Tammy Sytch filing an assault complaint with Branford, Connecticut police after suffering a pair of broken ribs and bruising all over her body. She alleges that she suffered the injuries at her ex-boyfriend's home prior to being arrested recently for violating a protective order. This is just, oh man, Tammy, she a mess. What else can I say? Sytch's attorney claims she was given permission by the court to have discussions with her ex-boyfriend because they were attempting to reconcile. The pair had recently announced their engagement online. This just gets stranger and stranger with Tammy Sytch. I mean, after the 5 arrests in a 4-week period or something like that. Oh yeah, Nick. It's been interesting for the former WWE diva, and WWF diva primarily.
Yeah, she's old.
Well, it's weird. She is, but she's not even 40 years old yet. I mean, she's just
I'm kidding.
She started in, I want to say, Smoky Mountain when she was like 19.
Right. I was kidding when I said that.
And I mean, the last time I saw her, she was still smoking hot.
like I said, I was kidding when I said that.
There you go.
I don't miss everything, you know.
Send all your complaints to Nick Cataldi, 200 Matt. No.
No, I was just teasing.
Okay. Also,
she knows that.
Yeah.
If she stops by later, I'll explain it.
There we go. That sounds like a plan. Sure, she's a huge country music fan.
And a fan of the station, of course.
Of course, yeah. I've had her on here before.
Oh, there you go.
Hasselhoff and Bischoff. Yes,
not David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, David Hasselhoff.
Get out.
I still got 19 minutes left of the show today.
Knight Rider?
Yes.
You're kidding.
Knight Rider, Baywatch. Oh, here's a story.
I really missed. You know what? Wrestling is on in my house 2 or 3 nights a week. But I'm usually asleep because I'm coming in here at midnight.
You're getting ready. Yeah, you're getting ready to do the overnight.
I catch the tail end of things. I had no idea he was involved.
Well, here's kind of how it's involved.
Yes,
it's a wrestling-related story.
Now I am listening officially.
Now, officially, yeah. The first 40 minutes you weren't.
Well, no, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, there you go.
My job, you know.
The MX Digital Game Development Company, co-owned by TNA's Eric Bischoff and Jason Hervey, who you might remember is Fred Savage's older brother from the Wonder Years.
He played young Rodney Dangerfield in Back to School.
Yes, he did. Well, they announced the launch of a series of games featuring actor David Hasselhoff. The Hoff series will launch this Thursday, February 14th in the United Kingdom. Quote, "We're very excited about Mr. Hasselhoff joining our catalog of celebrity and branded content." That's Eric Bischoff in a press release. "David is a perfect example of MX Digital Gaming's strategy of identifying relevant brands and introducing them to the market within unique, cutting-edge games." So it's more of a gaming thing, but...
Well, regardless, he's involved.
Exactly. Well, he's involved. I mean, Bischoff, that could lead to something else. I mean, David Hasselhoff...
Refrigerator Perry was involved once, too. I mean, you know...
Exactly, and now he's a WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah, brother.
Thanks to his involvement in that Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2.
Does that have to be a Hall of Famer? We should be Hall of Famers. I mean,
Well... I don't know. Maybe if I can get into the 2014 Royal Rumble, maybe I'll have a shot. That's all it took for Drew Carey. He's in the Hall of Fame.
I used to feel sorry for David Hasselhoff. You know, working on the show Baywatch and everything, and all them
being overshadowed by Pamela Anderson,
and all those gorgeous babes around him, and he had to be a gentleman, a nice guy, and a good person. Forget that.
Saying he had to be, as if he just wasn't naturally.
No, of course not. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, getting me into trouble here. All right. Now, this is a story. Now, you might remember a couple weeks ago I had Steve Antolos on here, Steve Off. He was involved in the TNA Gut Check Challenge. And, TNA, they've suspended the voting for it. Of course, fans picking upcoming Gut Check participants. They've suspended the voting due to irregularities. And that was effective this past Thursday, I believe. TNA had changed the format and the date of the voting just last week, but they've now suspended the contest. They're promising a relaunch with a new voting system. Initially, the voting was restricted to 1 vote per IP address per day.
You think that would be the right way to do it?
Yeah, and I mean, and it was going well, and Steve was actually winning in his bracket until they changed things around and then revamped it, removing the limits and allowing voters to basically vote unlimited votes, and that allowed them to implement automated, like Autobot voting software, causing a wrestler's votes to increase by thousands of votes an hour.
Are you implying that there was voter fraud involved here? I'm
not implying. I'm reporting it. That's exactly what happened.
You're also trying to say that wrestlers break rules in the ring too, I bet.
Well, that goes without saying.
Jeez. Is there no hope? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I'm just too aghast here,
But, yes, Steve Off, he was on the show a couple weeks ago. He had a slight lead in his bracket prior to the limit changes, and then with cheating on other wrestlers' behalf, fell quickly in the standings before TNA pulled the contest.
Rule breaking.
Rule breaking, exactly. And I got a brief word with Steve following the voting system being compromised, if you want to pull that clip up here.
Sure.
Frustrated into the word for it. This is bullshit. So much injustice around here. I've had it up to here.
Okay, maybe that wasn't quite what it was. That sounded a lot like Bret Hart, didn't it? No, Steve's just glad that things are going to be on an even playing field, and he's looking forward to the votes starting fresh and without any chicanery, tomfoolery, or hijinks coming up in the near future.
I have a question. When he was talking, how did he get his voice to go beep?
I did that.
Oh, you mean you did that?
Otherwise, I wouldn't have a job.
I thought he went eek, like that or something. Oh, what a dope I am. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have a job here anymore.
Oh, boy, am I stupid. Go ahead.
It's his first day, folks. Okay, maybe
I have
not.
much to learn.
Apparently. All right. We've got some more news and notes. Let's take care of our second time out. We'll come back. We'll get to the Facebook feedback as well. I've seen Bob and John, a few others throwing a few different lines on there. We'll get to those. We've got some more news and notes. I've got the Nature Boy getting licked update to talk about still. Also, the aforementioned Hitman going under the knife. We'll talk about that. Jeff Hardy re-signing with TNA. We've got a WWE Network update and ECW fans getting a movie. All that and more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.